Hey guys, welcome to episode 18 of Fresh Takes and Mistakes, a brand new vlog where we discuss weight loss, fitness, and all the messy mind stuff in between. I'm Susan. In case you haven't watched before, know that there are several episodes behind me. Go check them out if you're interested. Today, we are going to discuss something new, something I probably should have discussed a little bit earlier. But before I get into it, I want to thank you guys so much for being here, so much for watching, and for those of you who have been following me since the beginning, for those of you who have jumped on and gone back and watched previous episodes, for those of you who comment and share and like, thank you so much. I would not be here without you. I want you to know that I really appreciate you guys. I'm thinking this week I might do another one of those giveaways. Mary, I know you love your shirt. I'm still waiting on the picture of that, by the way. But I have a new giveaway item that I want to send out to a special someone who reacts, shares, likes, comments on this post, and I'll be picking that person at random. So make sure you comment. I actually have a question I want to get answered from you guys if you comment on this post, and you'll be entered into the chance to win that gift. So today we're going to talk about, like I said, something that I should have probably discussed earlier. And I might get a little harsh with you guys. Not too harsh because I love you, but I want you to hear me and I want you to achieve all your goals. And I think that this message today is really important. So we're going to talk today about being honest with yourself. And as you guys know, I center a lot of what I talk about back to weight loss and fitness, but most of these messages that I'm trying to get out and lessons that I've learned along the way that I am trying to share with you guys, they can be applied to any goal that you have. And this one, I think, especially. So my question for you guys, when you comment and enter for the chance to win the free gift, I want you to answer below how being honest with yourself can help you achieve other goals other than weight loss and fitness, and how not being honest with yourself could prevent you from achieving those goals. So one of those answers is fine. You don't have to do both of those, but one or the other would be great. And today I'm going to talk about 2 ways that being honest with yourself is good for your weight loss and fitness. And I'm going to start with the easy one because the easy one's going to soften you up a little bit and get you ready to hear the second one. The second one's the one where I might get a little harsh. Again, not too much because I love you guys. So the first reason that being honest with yourself is going to be really important with weight loss and fitness is your planning. I'm so bad for this, but if you don't plan for realistic goals and you're not honest with yourself about the things that you want to do and the plans that you want to make, or that you can realistically achieve, then you set yourself up for disappointment, failure, self-loathing, and guilt. And I'm going to give you a couple examples of those things because these 2 examples are the 2 that I've encountered the most and the 2 that I've heard of the most with other people. And I think that they're going to resonate the most with you guys and you're going to understand them the best. So the first example of planning where people aren't honest with themselves and they set themselves up for failure is in weight loss and fitness specifically is their sleep schedule or when they're planning on working out. So I am guilty of telling myself that I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to go work out. And I'm a snoozer. I will snooze my alarm 40 times until I am late. I am 10, 15 minutes before I have to leave the house for work. And realistically, that's not nearly enough time to work out. Like, it's just not. So I stay up until 11 o'clock at night. And then I set my alarm for 6 or 5. And I say, yeah, I'm going to get up and work out in the morning. And I just am used to getting up at like 7:30. So it just doesn't make any sense for me to expect myself to all of a sudden one day decide to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go work out. It's not realistic. And so I set myself up for this failure and this disappointment and this guilt and self-loathing. And I am so guilty of beating myself up over this when the fact is that was never a realistic goal to begin with. Now, I'm not saying that somebody who's a snoozer can't start getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and working out. I'm not saying that at all. You guys can do anything you set your mind to. And I have gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning and worked out before, even earlier. But it's not realistic to go from snoozing every day and going to bed at 11 o'clock at night to getting up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning and working out. It's just not realistic. That is just too much of a drastic change. And one day you might be able to do it, or 2 days, or 3 days, but that's not something that can be maintained. Not like that. And I'm going to talk about how those goals can be achieved, in my opinion, after I go over the second instance with you. The second instance that I've seen a lot of other people try to encounter or try to attack and get at and just set themselves up for failure with these planning things that just are not realistic is your calorie deficit. So with weight loss, you're supposed to take yourself in increments. You're supposed to lose about 2 pounds a week, and that's what's healthy. Now, for somebody who needed to lose 130 pounds, that's daunting. That 2 pounds a week is just not a lot. It's gonna take you so long to lose. So you get really tempted to fast or intermittent fast or set yourself up in this 1,000-calorie diet. Now, as someone who was 330 pounds, going from whatever I was taking in to 1,000 calories a day is drastic, and it's difficult. And actually for me, it was not possible. I mean, it just wasn't. I didn't try to do that because I started with MyFitnessPal, but I do see a lot of people try to take that route. And while that may be sustainable for a week or a couple weeks or even a few weeks or a few months, it's just not a realistic, sustainable lifestyle to take that drastic change from maybe 3,000 calories a day to 1,000 calories a day. Your body is not going to appreciate it. Your mind is not going to appreciate it. And you're likely going to put yourself into starvation mode and end up eating a bunch of food at the end of the night. And that's actually something I'm going to talk about in the second reason. But before I get into that, that calorie deficit, that drastic change, that's another reason I believe people set themselves up for failure. They are not honest with themselves about what they're able to do. Same thing with getting up in the morning. They're not honest with themselves about what they're able to do. So they set themselves up for failure by trying to do too much at once. If you want to set those goals of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and working out every day, I think you absolutely can do that, even if you're a snoozer. But I think you need to try to do it in increments. That is my recommendation. Take it 15 minutes at a time. So this week, get yourself up 15 minutes earlier. Next week, 15 minutes earlier than that, and so on and so forth. And if you need to take 2 weeks to get yourself up for 15 minutes earlier and then move forward, then do that. You're gonna take the time anyway, so you might as well. But my recommendation is to take it in increments. It's the same thing with calories. You start yourself maybe 200 calories lower a day, and then 300, and then 400, and eventually you might reach that 1,200 to 1,000 calories a day. Me personally, I'd rather work out and have the extra calories, but that's just me. So I absolutely think it's possible. I absolutely think you're capable, but you have to be realistic and honest with yourself about how you're going to achieve that and how realistic what your plan is. Or how realistic your plan is for yourself and for your lifestyle and for your current state. If your current state is that you're here, don't try to go up here. You know, if your current state's here, try to go here and then here and then here and then here and then here. You get the idea. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about with regard to being honest with yourself and how that's gonna be helpful with regard to losing weight and fitness. The second thing I want to talk to you guys about, it might seem a little harsh, but I've encountered a lot of people who are not honest with themselves about what's holding them back from their weight loss or their fitness goals. And I think this is especially true with other goals as well. If you think that you don't take in enough calories and that's the reason that you're not losing weight and that's all you're thinking, that's probably not true. The reality of the situation is a calorie deficit equals weight loss. That it just does. So whether it's unhealthy or not, if you are in a serious calorie deficit every day consistently, you are going to lose weight. If you're honest with yourself and you question it, maybe you're not taking in enough calories from the hours of like 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. while you're at work or whatever, or whenever you get up. But then at 9 o'clock at night, are you taking snacks into your bedroom with you? Or are you going right out to a fast food restaurant right after work and getting, a large meal? Or are you having dessert every night with a fried chicken meal or whatever the case may be? If you look at the calories that you're taking in the evening after you're not taking in enough calories throughout the day, you're putting yourself into a calorie surplus, which is the reason that you're not losing weight. Or you're right at the same calories if you've been doing this consistently and you're not losing weight. But the fact is if you're in a calorie deficit, which for anybody who doesn't know, a calorie deficit is you are eating less calories than your body requires to maintain your current weight. So if my body requires 1,800 calories to maintain my current weight, which actually I think is right around what my body requires with no exercise, and I take in 2,000, then I'm probably gonna gain a little bit of weight each week. Or if my body requires 1,800 calories and I am taking in maybe 1,600 calories, I'm probably gonna lose a little weight consistently. And if I'm right around that 1,800 calories every day, I'm probably going to maintain my weight. So if you're realistic with yourself about what your calorie intake is, regardless of whether it's throughout the day, you will know that if you are not losing weight, you're not in a calorie deficit. Now, the reason you're not in a calorie deficit could be because you're not eating enough calories throughout the day. You're not taking in enough throughout the day. So if you are not eating from the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., I use that time because that's what I work. But if you're not taking in any calories, or you're only taking in 100 or 300 calories from the hours of 8:30 to 5, then you're probably eating a lot of calories at the end of the day because you're really hungry and your body is in starvation mode, and it's like, oh my goodness, she hasn't fed me all day. I need to take in as much nutrition as I can because I don't know where my next meal is going to come from. So absolutely, you're probably not eating enough throughout the day. But when you look at overall, if you're not losing weight, it's because you're taking in a surplus or an appropriate amount of calories for your current body weight. Now, if you start eating throughout the day and you're honest with yourself, you can kind of stop yourself from going into that starvation mode at the end of the night and start to get yourself into a calorie deficit. But first, you have to be honest with yourself about the calories that you're currently taking in, because I find that a lot of people aren't honest with themselves about what their problem really is. And you can't change anything unless you know what the actual problem is or what needs to be changed. So first, be honest with yourself. The other instance I'm finding is that people think that they're not taking in a lot of calories because they're not eating a lot, but they're drinking a lot of their calories, whether that be through alcohol or through sugary drinks or through coffee. I know some people that drink 8 cups of coffee a day, and they put heavy whipping cream in their coffee and 4 teaspoons or tablespoons of sugar in their coffee, and they don't realize that sugar has about 100 calories per tablespoon. I think that's it. I'd have to look it up. Don't quote me, I don't know. But if you're taking in 4 tablespoons of sugar and half a cup of heavy whipping cream with your coffee, and you're doing that 4 times a day, that's probably your calorie intake goal for the entire day, an appropriate calorie intake goal. So you would have to be doing only that and never eating anything in order for that to put you in a calorie deficit or even just maintain your weight. Anyway, I digress. I've gone off on a whole tangent, but that applies for alcohol, it applies for coffee, it applies for sodas, and it applies for junk food. So all of those things are things that you need to be honest with yourself about before you can begin to make a change in your life. And I hope I wasn't too harsh on you guys. I definitely want you guys to succeed at whatever you set out to do. I love you guys, and I think you are capable of doing anything. But the only way that you guys can succeed at your goals is if you are honest with yourself. As I said, this is probably something I should have talked about a little bit sooner. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you comment what you think being honest with yourself about is important for other goals. Okay? I'll be giving away a free giveaway next week, or 2 weeks from now, for somebody who has interacted with this post in some way. So like, comment, share on Facebook, share with your friends, subscribe. Somebody who has interacted with this post will be getting a free giveaway in our next episode. Thanks you guys so much. I look forward to seeing you again soon.